Lions fans, let's have one more conversation. I'm going to try to remain calm this video, but I want to have a conversation. In the age of social media, everybody has an opinion, right? I have a YouTube channel. I'm always yelling, all that stuff. You know, it's all love. It's all passion. Twitter is up in absolute shambles. But why is it that today feels like the end of the world? There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons. We have SOL PTSD, right? I do not believe that SOL is, I think it's dead, but you have to be honest and you have to say that some form of SOL PTSD lingers inside of you, right? Today was that. Today was an SOL loss, right? Not saying the Lions are SOL, just listen, it was an SOL loss. It's haven't won on Thanksgiving, and we haven't won on Thanksgiving since Jim Caldwell was our quarterback. This is a game you can't lose. You cannot lose this game. You just can't. So why does it feel like the end of the world when the Lions lose? It feels like the end of the world because they should have won today's game. Because winning, again, and I try to say this over and over. There's I said it in every video today thus far. Winning covers everything. I'll never forget last year, it was some broadcast I was watching. Some coach said, people have the assumption that winning cures everything. It doesn't cure anything. It covers everything. And what winning has covered for the Detroit Lions is a lack of a pass rush. What winning has covered is Aaron Glenn's defense. Why does it feel like the end of the world? We have never been here in the NFC North. We've never been 8-2. We had the best start we've had since 1962, right? We have an opportunity and we let it squander. We squandered it. This is a team we should have beat. They came into our house. Now they were paying us back for last time. Okay, cool. We split. If you look at the overall picture, Lions are 16-5 in their last 21 games. They are 7-3 now in the division. 7-2 in the division. That's a pretty decent record. But for me personally, and I'm gonna speak for myself, I see past the now and I see into the future. And what future do I see? Is I see, like I said in the last video, that the pass rush, the defense will be the end of our season. It will be. When you match up against a team like the San Francisco 49ers, a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, do we have what it takes? Yeah, we beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And yeah, they were without their two best players. Well, their second best player on offense and their best player on defense. Their receivers couldn't catch the ball. That's the NFL. We've also lost games like that, right? So I'm not taking anything away from what the Lions did against the Kansas City Chiefs, but the playoffs are one game elimination. The literal NFL season is to get to that one game single elimination tournament. And when you get there, are you going to have what it takes to win? The reason why it feels like the end of the world is because we should have won today. And when we lose, we lose. The offense took forever to start clicking. The offensive line that was PFF's top graded offensive line after Sunday looked like the offensive line in a Pee Wee football game. And we had Frank Ragnow. We had Taylor Decker. We had Penei Sewell. We had Graham Glasgow. Kobe Sorsdahl looked like a fifth-round pick, a fifth-round rookie. He looked like it. So I see the lack of getting to the quarterback ending our season. Also, and this is just a heart-to-heart. As I'm watching Bye Bye Barry yesterday, I'm sitting there in an emotional, I start crying near the end of it. And I thought about what he went through and what his fans go through. This is painful. We have to hear, we claim that we don't care what other things people have to say. We care. We do. We got to hear it on Good Morning Football. We got to hear it I already saw Rich Eisen. We got to hear how much of a fraud we are. Frauds was in the comment section. We got to get trolled on Twitter, called frauds. It feels like the Ravens game, but worse. Because this was Thanksgiving Day. This was at home. This is a game you cannot lose. You cannot lose this game. You have to give the people something. I feel bad for the people going down there. It quickly reminded me of, man, that's why I sit at home. Tickets were in the thousands, $200 standing room tickets only. Thanksgiving Day, you go down there, is miserable. There are growing pains and bumps and bruises. I see our season ending on our defense. And somehow, some way, we're going to put it on Jared Goff. It's not the end of the world, but it's hard, man. This is emotional. This is part of us. This is who we are. This is part of being a fan. It's part of being a fan. And that's why, that's why these games mean so much. That's why a loss feels painful. This is the first time we've lost on Thursday in quite a while. Now we have to sit 10 days with nothing. And we have 3 extra days to hear how bad our team is, how much of a fraud we are. How good are we really? When the Ravens have lost, they got 3 losses. With us, and I'm seeing stuff on Twitter, and I just, listen, I'll say this. There's a difference between, somebody commented on Twitter and said, no need to be dead. Let me see this, because I want to see what this says. I responded to Mike Payton's Twitter. He said, in my opinion, Lions fans really struggle with the idea that this is an evolving thing. Every loss is the end for them. Although with that is the idea that this is the final season or something, it has to be this year or nothing. Then I said, false. We see glaring holes that aren't addressed when they can be. Then somebody said, no need to be desperate now. Everything's still set up nicely. I'll just say this, okay? I'll say this. I'm not going to go back on what I said. I believe everything I said. A lot of stuff I believe is based off the NFL narrative. I'm a strong believer in the NFL narrative, and I think the Lions are going to be around for quite a while, right? But when it comes to, there is no guarantee. And when you watch Bye Bye Barry, you're going to see there is no guarantee. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Why not? I'm not saying sell the farm. I'm not saying go all in this year. What I'm simply saying is next year, it's so hard not to talk about Bye Bye Barry when it's a point in there. Let's just put it like this. The team in the 90s, they didn't think that their season was they didn't think their trajectory was going to go the way that it did. So that's why it feels like the end of the world, because tomorrow's not promised, because we haven't seen this before, because we have to put our trust in something that we have yet to see pay off. And I'm sorry, y'all, but the payoff is winning a championship. The payoff is winning the division. The payoff is winning a playoff game. The playoff is, the Lions were 1 game away from getting the Super Bowl. And I say this. As you watch the Bye Bye Barry interview or the documentary, there's a point when Herman Moore, they asked Herman Moore about because he's on there too, and they ask him about how close they were to the Super Bowl. And when Herman says something, he says, we were 1 game away. And then he pauses and says, 1 game away. And you can see the pain in his face, in his eyes, how close they were. Close, but not quite there. So I could go on, but I'll just end it there. Every this loss feels like the end of the Ravens loss felt different. It really did. It really did. It wasn't a division opponent. It wasn't a conference opponent. Now, not only do we have a loss inside the conference, this loss hurts when it comes to Philadelphia Eagles. It hurts. We have a conference. We have a divisional loss now. And we also have a conference loss. We have 2 of them now. So now we're even further behind them. Now we have to have a better record. So we need a lot of help. So that first seed is looking further and further away. But anyway, that's the video, man. Just, I've calmed down. I feel pain. Last week with the Chicago Bears, I felt pain in my chest. We joke about it, but it was real. I had a back spasm that lasted for about 3 days. The pain was during the game. It went down from my chest to my back. Maybe I need to go to the doctor. And it stayed there for about 3 days. And it just loosened up like yesterday. That could be something unrelated, but You know, I think that we all have the right to feel whatever way we do. And I think if you want to hit the panic button, you're perfectly fine to do that. If you want to say trust the process, you can do that. I don't think there's a wrong or right way to feel. I think we are all entitled to feel how we feel. And there's nothing wrong with that. We have all been through so much. If you saw the Uperman special, how he never got to see. He never got to see the Lions win. And, you know, we talk about it, but it's a real thing. This is real for us. So anyway, that's my last video, man. This is a big deal. It's a big deal. This team is like, we feel like they're extensions of us. It brings us together. I don't know you. You don't know me. But now we know each other through the game, right? People sending me things. People meeting me at the stadium. People saying how much they appreciate what I do, right? Because this team brings us together and we want to see it win. And losses like this, on days like today, the way they lost is disheartening. But I still think the Lions win the division. I'm not concerned at all. They will get it together. They're going to take, they did have 3 games in 11 days. It was a gauntlet. They went 2-1. It is what it is. But what I see us not being able to take the next step. And who's to say next year is promised? Who's to say we're going to be better? Everything's going to be tougher next year. We should have a better team, but we're also going to have a tougher schedule. So anyway, I'm out of time, man. I added something new and I want to play it.
Well, we out of time.
We out of time. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.